recording, you can come back and listen to it. So what we're going to do now is we are looking at our classwork, and I'm going to click on the three dots, copy the link so that you can get to 005 in the chat. So there you go. So with Google Slides, I built all the instructions right within Google Slides, and so we're going to run through that. And then we're also going to try a new thing just because I found it and it's super fun. So, and you guys you rocked the Google Drawings yesterday, so I think you'll rock this too. So go ahead and click on the 005 Google Classroom. And once you're in there, this really kind of goes through how to set up Google Slides or how to get to Google Slides. And so one of the things that we talk about is how to get there. You can get there through the waffle. And so if you're in Google, you can go to the waffle in your upper right-hand corner and then select Slides, or you can go from your Drive and do New and Slides. I provided you guys with the link to the first day of Google Slides tutorials, mainly just because these first day resources are excellent. They give you the basics, and then they go through and give you tips and tricks and how to keep a personalized list, a glossary of terms. So they have some different ideas, and then how we can do things like add audio to Google Slides, which is so cool. And so all of these things give you a lot of options if you want to dive in deeper to do some of the cool stuff. And then finally, we'll look at not recreating the wheel here with Google Slides. And so if you did make a Google Slides earlier, you've already submitted that assignment. You do not need to redo it, but I would encourage you to create a slides and share it in the class comments for this one so that we can all look at it. Just to have that sharing capability. But so let's take a few minutes right now and actually go in and look at a slide in detail. So I'm going to go to Google Drive. I'm going to do New, and then I'm going to click on Slides. And boom. And so when we talked about the PDFs, we went through this, like how to put a PDF on as a background. So this is creating a Google Slide presentation. As we roll through, I do want to kind of show you some of the options that you can do. One of the things that we can do is we can do File, and you can resize your slides. And so this is awesome if you want to make this more like a book and you want it to be page size, or if you want to have it be less like a slide presentation and have the space of a page. So you can do page setup, you can do a custom, and then you can do whatever size you want. All right. So that's kind of your options there. Some of your other options here, when we go in, and so yesterday you guys spent quite a bit of time in Google Drawings doing that insert functionality. And so here you see all the same stuff. How awesome is that? And so now you can go and say, well, I know how to insert an image because we did that yesterday in Google Drawings. Text box, audio. You can insert audio if you want. And so you can bring in something from your drive, something that's shared with you, or something that is recent. You can also bring in a video. So one of the powerful things about Google Slides is you can either embed in a video from YouTube, or you can also bring in a video from Google Drive. shapes, tables, charts, diagrams, word art, lines. So you have a lot of options here. When we go on to the format option, here you can set, so just like in the Google Draw, when we have, I'll put a shape in. Participants tab is in the way. So I put in a quick shape. I can now do all of the formatting to this. And so I can format the text that's in my shape. I can align it. I can do some line spacing, bullets and numbering, clear formatting, borders and lines, and then my format options. And when we played with those format options yesterday in Google Draw, you see we can do some size and rotation. You can actually lock it somewhere. You can do the position. And so we can say where you want it to be, do some text fitting, which is awesome if you wanted to control that, drop shadows and reflections. So you can do some pretty amazing formatting options if you care. This is also where we have our slide options. And this is one of the things that I do a lot. If I can say apply a layout, so slide apply layout allows me to pull up just a blank slide. And I really like to use blank slides because then I can put in whatever I want. But you also see that you can, bring in one with a title on the side and text on the other, so you can do some really nice things by using those slides apply layouts. You can also change your transitions just like we always have. There are themes that you can apply. They will pop up over on the right, so you can use all those fun themes. So all of that stuff is really, really nice. Arrange we looked at yesterday with our Google Drawings. Same thing here. I can have stuff be in the front, be in the back. I can align, I can distribute, I can rotate, I can group. Tools. This is where the fun comes in. So here I can, remember yesterday we did explore. I also can explore in Google Slides, and so here I can search the web and bring in content. I can check my spelling, obviously. I can check for linked objects, and so that is if I've linked across from other resources. We have a dictionary, and then there's a QA history. I also can do voice type speaker notes, and so you'll see down here in the bottom we have those speaker notes. I can do voice type speaker notes, which is so cool. So I'm gonna turn it on, allow my microphone. This is voice typing speaker notes. So it actually typed out what I was saying. And so this is a really great way to get your speaker notes in and be able to play around with that a little bit in your tools. I can also go in and change my preferences if I want to. And then finally, we have our accessibility settings. And so here, I can turn on screen reader support if you have Braille support. You can also turn on a screen magnifier, so you have some options. Add-ons, we looked at a little bit yesterday. I know they're pretty locked down. And then really, the help is awesome. I use the help quite a bit because I'll be like, wait, how do I do that again? And so this can give you those tips and tricks on how to do what I want to do. So that is kind of a quick intro to Google Slides. And when we go in and look at some of the ideas, and remember I say don't recreate the wheel just because not worth it. So if we look at Ditch That Textbook, he has so many great resources that he's using and sharing. And so if we go on down, you have your Google Slides templates, you have video tutorials. So all of these are things that we can say, get the template, it's going to pop it up. He gives us a Google Slides template that I can click on, but check it, I get the full blog post too. So if I say, I don't even know what that is, I can check it out. I can see exactly how you would use this and what you would, how you could use it for. And so these are really a fun thing to explore and see, you know, especially as we're bringing in kids for the fall. These are great ways to start building that community and connecting that engagement. So I will give you a choice. If you want to go back out and create your own slides, I'm also going to make another model assignment for you. And this is one where I'm going to push out a copy for everybody. So I'm going to go up to the top. I'm going to say create. I'm going to make an assignment. And I'm going to say Google Slides Scavenger Hunt. And so this is, everybody's going to get their own copy. And so complete the scavenger hunt and turn in when done. So I'm going to quick add a file from my Google Drive. And we have the Eagle Butte Scavenger Hunt. And then I'm going to run over and I'm going to say that everybody, I'm going to make a copy for each student. And so that way everybody will have their own copy of this scavenger hunt. I'm going to assign it to everybody. I'm not going to make it graded, no due date. And then I'm not going to drop it under a topic because it'll just show up at the top of your classwork stream. So are you ready? Here it goes. Okay, now if you refresh your stream, if you're not your stream, if you refresh your classwork, if you're in Google Classroom, you can, you will see the Google Slides Scavenger Hunt. I will also drop the link into our chat, and so you can access it there. So here's the scavenger hunt. And this can be something that you can copy and use with your own students. You may want to personalize it. You may want to do something different. So let me find the scavenger hunt here too. So here it is. And what's really cool about it is it's been designed so that everything you do, you can complete within the hunt. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to leave the document to complete the tasks. And so it's just a really fun document to look at all the different ways we can learn the tools. And the really neat thing for me is you guys played with a lot of these tools yesterday in Google Drawings. And so when I looked at this, I'm like, oh, those of you that built the Google Drawings yesterday, you are going to so rock going through this. So what I'm going to do right now is I'll give you guys about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to go through and do the scavenger hunt. And so if you want to create, if you want to go in and do slides and make your own slides, totally. If you want to, you can do that. If you want to go through and learn Google Slides a little bit more and try out all the tips and tricks, do the scavenger hunt. So I'll give you 15 minutes to build slides for your own classroom or else do the scavenger hunt. I don't care which way. And I'll be here to answer questions. Drop them in the chat. You can unmute. And I can stop sharing my screen. Yes, thank you. All right, go ahead and share your screen so we can turn in your homework, please. Green box at the bottom of the screen with the arrow says share screen, and then you'll want to click on your screen, and then the blue share that shows up at the lower right. Oops, sorry, that was my bad. I hadn't enabled your sharing. You can now share. Try again. Awesome. Okay. So you've done your work. Ooh, I'm loving the raspberry. Go ahead and close. You can close your slides here because they've automatically saved. So go ahead and close this tab. You don't need to share it. It's part of your assignment. So go up to the tab. You might need to move the share window. So where you have the controls at the top of your screen, you may need to drag that down. Okay, so go up to your tabs. So keep going up. There you go. You can close this. Perfect. Now we see your assignment. You're done working on this assignment, and so you have your work bubble over on the right. Yep, click turn in. It's going to tell you you are submitting it. Turn it in. Yay! Now you've turned it in, and I have it. If you're like, oh no, I forgot to do something, you can always unsubmit it. I can see all of that, but you can leave it submitted. So there you go. Thank you. That was fun. All right, so now I want to show you guys all of the work and everything that happened. So I'm going to go back to our assignment, so 005. So here I am in our classwork. I'm looking at this assignment. And when I click on it, I see that I have one turned in, it's been assigned to 105 people, and one is returned. I'm going to click on View Assignment. And then it pops me up and I can see all of the people that are assigned. The really fun thing to me here is I can actually click in and view each of your slides as you're working on it. The other thing I can do, and this is a lot easier if you're going to be looking at a lot of documents, is I can open the folder here to view the assignment. It's going to take me into my Google Drive and show me the folder that you guys are working on. So as a teacher, I see this. As a student, you do not. So I see your files because they're shared with me, but they're shared through Google Classroom. You see all this here, we see this is my classroom folders, this is my class, and this is the assignment within this class. And so each one of your classes is going to be in Classroom. You'll have the name of your class, and then you'll have all of the assignments that have files attached to them. This is a recommendation, and you can choose to ignore it. Over here on the right-hand side of the screen, you have the view. You can change the view. Default is grid view. I don't love grid view. For me, grid view doesn't tell me much of anything, and it gets really overwhelming. And so I'm going to change back to list view because it's a little less overwhelming for me. Plus, I can see more about my documents. And so when I'm looking at this, and I've changed the sort to last modified because I want to see who's working on it most recently. I could also go the other way. I could do last modified and see who hasn't gone into it yet. And so I have options here. I can also, now I can see that like Kevin was just working on his. And if I click, can I click on yours, Kevin? Thanks. All right, so I'm going to click on yours and we're going to go in it. And so if he is still in this document and I don't, oh, there he is. I see he's in this document. Excellent. So he's in this document. I can actually come through this document and I can see, oh, look, this is where he is. And so I'm going to add a comment for him. And I'm going to click on the comment here. And I'm going to say, hi, Kevin. Oh, come on. Why are you doing that to me? Use the insert video option to insert the YouTube URL. All right, so I just gave him a dorky comment, but now he has, so I can actually have that communication while you guys are working. And so especially like if for the teachers who are going through and are using you're planning on putting out a week's worth of work at a time, this can be a way where you can go in and see where the kids are, provide that feedback as they go, and have that opportunity. So thanks, Kevin, for being my guinea pig. I appreciate it. So that is one way to be able to easily go in and see what's happening in any particular assignment. And so how did I do that? I clicked on my assignment and then I went to the folder and boom, now I'm in the folder. I do recommend also doing the changing the view from grid view, which is your default, to list view, just because it makes life a lot easier. How you sort, so I can go back, I could sort by name if I wanted everything to be alphabetical by their first names. So I can sort up and down there. I personally like to use last modified just because it makes it easier for me. Another thing I want to point out, because Peggy turned hers in, when I see this, you see the owner is me right now. So she can no longer go back and edit that file. And so that's how that works. When I return that to her, she will get ownership back. So questions on any of that as we're diving through all of the fun Google stuff? Okay. Well, that was your Google Slides. So I'm excited that we got to do that. And I'm also really excited that you got to go in and do that scavenger hunt. So yes, no, in your participants tab, I want to know, who will use something like that with your students when school starts. So yes, no. And you realize you can just copy it and run with it. So you don't even have to recreate the wheel. You can just copy it and go. But this could be a really fun way, and that's something you could do collaboratively. You could do it to get, some of it together. So 5 of you say you'll use it, and 1 of you doesn't, so that's okay. So exciting. Okay. So that covers the Google Slides portion of today, but it doesn't really cover the entire day. There's more for Google Slides. So I'm going to go back to our classwork. And I'm going to scroll on down to Google Slides again, so the topic Google Slides, and we're going to go in and dive into that using PDFs in an online environment. This assignment is one of those where we're going to look at a lot of different options, and I believe yesterday Denise, are you here right now, Denise? I don't know. No. We went through and we tried out with Cami, and that was actually the Cami add-on. That was pretty easy. So you may want to try that out, and we can do an assignment with that, so you can test it out. So I can add you to that assignment. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to assignment 006. I am going to drop that assignment into the chat. So so for everybody that came to this morning's session where we were looking at Flipgrid and we were looking at teaching online and the blended aspect of it, one of the things that I really am going to encourage you to do is, as you'll see, converting a PDF into something that you can use online is not necessarily like I'm going to blink and it's going to happen. And so depending on what your PDF is, you may want to think about, is there another way I can present this? And I know we're all crushed for time. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. I get that. But I also want to, make sure that you think about this before we start taking, lots of images and building our slides. Just know that there could be other options. So what we're going to do, so for this assignment, you have the resources to explore. Your assignment for this is to create a PDF, turn a PDF into a editable slide in the class comments. And then you are going to, you can also go in and review your own, review other people's assignments. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the document. And here we go. So first thing, if your students are using the classroom, Google Classroom on a mobile device, so if they're using it on an iPad, if they're using it somewhere on a smartphone, you can edit on a PDF using the Google mobile app. And so that's something to just keep in mind, but I know you guys are all more Chromebooks, and so that's probably not going to be a great option. So this next option is one that if you go out on the internet and look, this is one that is really very popular. And so you are sharing a image or a JPEG or a PNG file as a Google Slides. And so what we're doing, and so there's step-by-step instructions from Slides Mania. I've given you a 11-minute video and then another 11-minute video. But then I've also written out the steps. And so we'll go through the steps version. I will go through it, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of time so that you can go through it too, or you can play around with it if you want. So here's what we do. I'm going to go to Google Slides. So I'm going to go back to my drive. I am going to make a new Google Slides. The very first thing I'm going to do is I am going to resize my slide. So I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to go down to Page Setup, and I'm going to click on the little down arrow, click Custom, and I'm going to say 8.5 by 11, so 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to say Apply. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these boxes here. I just click on the outside of the box and then I can delete them. So those are gone. Now I have a blank page. So that is one of the ways. So that is our basic setup. The next thing we need to do is we need to find a PDF. And so like if you've got a PDF on your computer or on your desk, you know, it's something you only have a printed copy, you can take a photo of it with your phone and then it will be an image format. If you have a PDF on your computer, then we're going to need to go in and we're going to need to change it to something that is, change it to a screenshot. So I'm going to go to my files. I have a collection of fun files for geometry. And I know everybody loves geometry. So we're going to go to Geometry Practice Workbook Part 2. So I'm going to double click on it. I need to open it up. And so I do have Adobe, the full Adobe. If you do have the full Adobe, it's a lot easier. I can just file, save as, and I can export it to an image if I want. Most people do not have the full Adobe. And so we're going to take a screenshot. Does anybody remember the two different ways that I've talked to you guys about doing screenshots? You can drop it in the chat. You can unmute. Peggy, I see your question, and that'll be a great office hours question, okay? And so I'll either answer it at the end of this session or we'll do it right away in office hours. So how do I take a screenshot? Does anybody remember? Mary Chris, the snipping tool. Yes, that is one of the ways. Does anybody remember the other way? It's my new favorite way. It makes me feel brilliant. Print screen key. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I really like the Windows key plus the Shift key plus the S. And then it pops up a little option to do a screenshot. So that's my favorite way right now. All right, I need to be able to see my image on the whole screen. And so I've learned, just because I've been doing this for a while now, that about 50% for this size worksheet works really well. But really what I want to be able to do is just make sure that I can get the whole screen in, I can get the whole worksheet in my snip. So I'm going to grab a screenshot of it, and so I'm just going to take a rectangle of it. So copy, paste, copy it, boom. So I need this as a, I need it as a file that I can edit. And so or not a file that I can edit. I need it as a saved image. And so I have to go in and I have to save my image now. I normally just save it to my downloads, but you can save it wherever you want. So this is chapter 1. So I think I already have that. Okay. So this is my distance and midpoints. How exciting. So I'm going to close this. I'm done with this. I can also close my PDF now. I saved my image into my downloads file, so there it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my slides. I'm going to right click on my blank slide and say apply background. Here I'm going to choose my image and I am just going to drag and drop that from my computer and we're done. Now my worksheet is placed as a image behind in the background of this slide. And so I can't move it around, I can't do anything with it. I can then go ahead and insert a text box if I want. So if I want to say, here's, here's where I want you to put the answer, type here. I can do that. I can also color in. So remember yesterday when you were changing colors in the Google Drawings, today in the Google Slides, we're still in Google Slides. And so as long as I click on an item, you'll see I get all these tools. I can fill it, and so I could fill it with a light gray so that it's easier to see where to type. And then once I've done that, I can copy and paste it. I do not have to keep recreating it, and just drag it around. So that is one way to turn your PDF into some sort of an editable file. This sample is one of those, so this is, once you start to do it, it doesn't take very long. I would, take all of my PDFs that I wanted to use for a couple weeks, and I would do it all at once. I would take the pictures, and then I would turn them into pictures, and then I would create my slides. So I would, try to streamline it as much as possible. There's another option here though. So that's the slide way to do it. But I want to show you the other option because I think in some situations it's going to be a better choice. So if we go back to the handout, so we talked a little bit about opening a PDF in Google Docs, and on your activity you do have this, you do have a PDF. When you say welcome, when I click on a PDF, you'll see here I get this open with Google Docs. And if I take that option, what happens is it'll turn it into a Google Doc, but it'll mess up the formatting significantly. This one had pretty minimal formatting, and so it comes in pretty good, but I've had some other ones where it's like, oh my goodness, you don't even really know what you're looking at. And so I have a lot of teachers that come back and say, well, I just gave the kids a PDF, but they turn in gibberish. Well, that's because they did this whole convert it to a PDF, or convert the PDF to a doc, and it doesn't do a nice job. And I'm not sure why I'm spinning, so it's Friday probably. So when you do this, you will notice that it does not necessarily convert into a one-to-one experience. I would definitely consider, if you have to share PDFs, have them be view only, and not necessarily have them, sure why it's not working, and not necessarily have them do anything with them if you need to share a PDF of some information, just a view only thing. So let's go back to the resources. The other thing that I would, Jamboard is going to give you a lot more options for interacting with a PDF, in the sense that you can draw on it, you can highlight on it, you can do all of that easily, you can add in the post-it notes. So you can do a lot of that really, really easily. And so when we go in to Jamboard, you would need to add your image of a PDF. And so we've already gotten the image of our PDF, which is awesome. And so if I click on my waffle and go to Jamboard, make a new one by clicking on the orange plus. Now, remember, I can insert an image. And so if I go over to my tools on the left, I have that image option. Here again, I can just grab, so I've already saved my geometry worksheet, so we'll do it over here too. It'll bring it in. I do need to resize it, and so I'll drag it up here. I'll drag it by the corner. All right, so here I now have my worksheet, and I'm like, oh, I can't really read that. You can zoom, and so I can go in and I can say I want it at 100%, and so here we go. Now I can read it much easier. I can use the pen tool, so I can write stuff out. I can use the sticky note to type in. I can say that there's no background, so it'll come out clear. So here's my answer. boom. So I can do different things with that. So Jamboard, I think, is going to, depending on what you're doing, Jamboard is going to give you a little more options, especially like for English, if you're wanting students to highlight terms or do those types of things, it's going to give you some different options. So let me, okay. So that is another option. So once you've saved that PDF as an image, you can do a Jamboard, or you can do a Google Slides. So the last thing that we'll look at here, we'll spend some time on anyways, is the Cami Chrome extension. So last night we did a demo, a trial run of this with Denise, and so the Cami Chrome extension is just that. It's an extension that you need to install on Chrome. There's a free version and a paid version. One of the things right now is they are actually giving teachers the free version of a free trial of the paid version right now. And so it's frustrating for me because it's like I really want us to be able to go in and see how it works without that. But if you do want to use it, just know that. Douglas, do you have a quick question? I can unmute you. You
Yes,
can
I do. Hello. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
I do have a quick question.
Great.
Like when we create these PDFs using the various software or programs you've mentioned here, we share that to each kid, save it, and then share it to each student in Google? Can you review that?
Yep, I can. So great question, and totally. So depending on what, obviously the worksheet, you know, whatever I'm doing, in most situations, you're going to be doing this as an individual activity. And so I would go to my create, a new assignment. Here's a demo PDF on slides for work. I muted you again, but you can unmute if you have more questions. So I'm going to say complete your work and turn in. So at this point, I can add that new PowerPoint that I did. So it's right here. I can say insert. And here, in most situations, your worksheets are the things that you convert from a PDF to something that the students can interact with are going to be individual work. And so here you can say, make a copy for each student, and then when you send it out, each student will get a copy of that. And then they can do their work and they can turn it back. Just like we did with the scavenger hunt, you turn in your work. So that would be how you can, so you can do that. We can do the same thing with the Jamboard. If I wanted to add in the Jamboard, I can do that. I can make a copy for each student. And so just like what we did with the Google Slide scavenger hunt, everybody would get their own copies and they would be able to interact with them.
I think that works for me. I want to practice that and then get back with you in office hours if it doesn't work.
That sounds like a good plan.
I haven't been in your office hours. Can you just maybe throw it out and tell us how it works? Is it again on Zoom here?
Yep. So Zoom is it's the same Zoom all week long. And basically what we'll do is you come with your specific questions. And so yesterday we looked at this actually a little bit more. And then we just miscellaneous questions. Like it was just lots of
Okay.
questions. And so come early, ask lots of questions. If you've come to any of the other ones, you're welcome to come back. It's not a one and done.
So type the question into the group chat, and when you get to me, that's when we have the chance to interact, right?
Yeah, or you can just unmute and talk when we get to office hours too. I'm pretty
Okay.
flexible. I mean, Peggy's asked a question that's kind of off topic, and so I'll talk about
I'll
that.
I'll let you go.
Okay, I'll talk about that in office hours. But yeah, so great. Okay, so that really covers, a couple of different ways. The last way I wanted to touch base with you on was the Cami Chrome extension. And so if you've clicked on that Cami Chrome extension option here, you're going to kind of see a little bit about it. And when we are looking at that, if you want to add it to your browser, you can. So you could click on, I have removed from Chrome because I already have it, but you can click on add to Chrome and it'll show up in your upper right hand corner next to your puzzle, which is your extensions. And so that's where you can manage your extensions. So if you do the Cami extension, what will happen is your learners will also need to have the Cami extension. And that's not a big deal. I mean, that's something where if you get permission for that, that can be pushed out to your learners and they can have it. So it's more of a getting permission and following through that. Um, totally, totally up to you. When we go through and we look at a Cami assignment, and so I did do one demo Cami assignment last night, and I only assigned it to one student, but I can assign it to the rest of you guys today just so you can kind of see what it looks like since we're talking about it. So if I go in and I edit this assignment, I'll give it back to everybody. Not going to give it any points, no due date. Okay. So what this assignment is I assigned a PDF and I said every student will get a copy. You're also going to notice that I ask you to add the Cami extension when you do that. And so go ahead and if you want to add the Cami extension, if you want to play with this, you can. Otherwise, I mean, you don't have to. I just want to make sure you know that this is an option. So I'm going to now save this because I've assigned it out to everybody. Yes, I want to update. Okay, so now it's assigned out to all of you. So if you refresh your screens, you should see the PDF with Cami. So let me drop that in the chat. Okay, so this is going to be easier for me to demo from the student side. And so does anybody want to be a student that uses Cami for the first time in front of everybody? Don't everybody say pick me at once. Anybody? It's fun, you guys. Please? Awesome. Thank you, Carmen. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. What we're going to do is we're going to, you need to add the Cami extension, and so we can walk through that together if you haven't done that already. And then we will open up your geometry work sheet to do that. So go ahead and share your screen. Green, share screen at the bottom of your Zoom window, and then select screen and then say share. I love the Cami. I just think the Cami thing is so fun. And it really is a lot easier, but it is like one more thing. And so this is where you're going to want to make sure that you want to make sure, you know, you want to use it. Okay, awesome. So you are, you've added it to Chrome. So you went into the Cami, you've added it to Chrome. Go ahead and click on the puzzle next to your puzzle piece next to your, yep, there you go. And then you're going to see there that you can, the little pin there will allow you to pin it. So scoot over to, oops, you're okay. Go ahead and click it again, and then click on, you're probably, I just was, if you wanted to always see it, you could click on the pin. There you go, perfect. Awesome, okay. So that's how we can always see that you have it. So you can pin and unpin your extensions if you want to be able to see them. All right, now what we're going to do is let's go back to the assignment, so the PDF sample. So let's go back to that assignment. Awesome. Okay, so let's open that assignment. So you can, that's the add-on. So you can close this. Okay, so in your work bubbles, oops, you're where you want to be. Go back to your one more. Go to your PDF assignment. There, in your work bubble where it says your work on the right-hand side of the page. There you go. Open that. Perfect. All right, so now at the top of your page, you're going to see that open with Google Docs. Click on the down arrow. And we do not have anything else connected. So go ahead and click Connect More Apps. And search for Cami in that little box. So K-A-M-I. There you go. Connect that one. Yep. Okay, so now it says Annotate with Cami has been connected. So let's try Open with again. All right, Annotate with Cami. Click on it. So yesterday when Denise did this, she actually had to go through this whole login or sign up. And so we had to authorize our Google Drive. So go ahead and do that. That's who you are. Click on that. Scroll on down and say it's okay for the Cami to access. Okay, and so that's what you're using it for K-12. I'm not sure why that popped up twice yesterday, and I'm not sure why. Go ahead and authorize it again. Okay, you're a teacher. And I'm not sure that you have to You can just say you don't know, and you can kind of keep rolling. Not sure if you can skip this or not. Scroll on down and see. Try finishing and seeing if you can get out. There, okay. Welcome. So this is where you get this 30-day free trial. And so you have all the features. And so that is one of the things that's frustrating for me, is because I really wanted to show you the free option, but whatever. Welcome to a free trial. Go ahead and click on continue. Now you've opened it up in Cami. Look how fun this is. So on the left-hand side of the page, you see all of your tools. And so you can mark up, you can do the text box, you can draw. So go ahead and just do a couple things to this document. You might need to click, right click or left click and drag when you're doing that. I haven't used markup, I've used drawing on there. Try draw. There you go. Notice you can also bring in images, you can bring in equations, you can bring in a text box. So you can bring in stuff from, you know, wherever. So it's kind of like having like using Google to be able to have all of those features. So you've drawn on this, so we'll say, good job. You're done doing your math homework. If only it was that easy in real life, right? So what you're going to do next is you need to save your document. And so in the upper right corner, actually, we got here from our assignment. And so when you are in the assignment for your PDF, we got there in the assignment, and then we went to your work, so your work bubble in the upper right hand corner, and clicked on the PDF. Then we did an open with Cami, and we had to connect that app the first time. So I'm sorry, go ahead and click on where it says turn in is also the save key. Click on that and go down. So this is, because you have the full version, if you click turn in, it's going to turn it in. But in real life, you probably won't have the full version. So click on save now, okay? Because this is how it will work if you do not have the full version. So you saved it, yay. You can now close this. You can also, so now we want to get back to our assignment. And so you'll see over on the left-hand side of the page, you have a little arrow next to click on that. Now you can say turn in the assignment, okay? Yep, we want to turn it in. Yay! So now I'm going to take over again. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate it so much. I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to go back into this assignment with Cami, okay? Oops, and I have 2 people that have turned it in. So cool. And I'm going to click on that, and we're going to look at the work that Carmen just did. And so I'm going to open this. And here I can see the scribble that she did. Go, Carmen. I can also, if I wanted to, and so I would need to connect more apps to this because I don't have it connected. But that is one way to do that. So as you're doing this gives you options for your students to edit the PDFs. The first time is the worst, just because you have to, kind of turn everything on and authorize everything. But once you've done that, it's all pretty simple. So, all right. So I'm not sure your question, Jay Kombolek, are you wanting to do this from the assignment point of view, or do you want to do this from the student point of view in our classroom? So if you want to go through this as a student, what you're going to do is you're going to go to our assignment, and so I'll drop the assignment into the link to the assignment into the chat. So here I'm copying the link and I'm dropping it in the chat. So here's the PDF with Cami assignment. All right, so that's in the chat. If you click on that, it's going to bring you up to a screen that looks like this. The link here is the Cami extension that you need to have in your browser, and then the geometry practice work will show up in your work bubble in the upper right hand corner of your assignment. And when you click on that, it's going to ask you if you want to open it in Google Docs, and we don't, and you're going to want to connect more apps, and then you could get to Cami. So it's kind of a very futzy process the first time, but after you get it authorized, it's a very simple process because I just open it with Cami and then I can go. So I'm going to give you guys just a few minutes to play with PDFs. So you can either go ahead and try out the Cami extension and see how that works. You can go ahead and make a PDF, an image, and add it to either a Jamboard or a Google Slides. And I'll be here to answer questions as you go. We can all see this. So there you go, perfect. So now I see Cami as an extension, so you've got that. So go ahead and click on the PDF. There you go. All right. So now you want, at the top of your page, you see that open with Cami.
What if I did it already?
Say that again.
I said, what if I did it already and I saved on that one? There it is.
There you go. You did it and you saved it. Look at you. You even wrote your name. I feel like I should give you a gold star. So now where you're at is you saw that save. So when you click on the save, click on that. It's going to tell you that all changes are saved. So you've got that save now. Okay. Go ahead and now you can close this PDF. And then here, if you use the, go over to the far left, and there you go, out of there. Now go back to your work bubble and click Turn In. Say Turn In. Awesome. So you've turned in your work. And so when I come back around and I look, I'll see that you've turned it in. When I open it up, I'll see the edits that you've made with Cami. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Because you're so good at sharing your screens now. I'm just like, I love this. Okay. So We've got about 15 more minutes, and so I do want to kind of touch base a little bit more on a couple things. Are there any more questions about PDFs, etc., in the online environment? So we talked about this one this morning quite a bit, but one of the things that you may want to consider as you're moving, your content online is converting it away from a PDF. Maybe it doesn't need to be a PDF. And I get it. I mean, I totally, it's like a lot of our curriculum comes with those PDFs. But I've moved a lot of stuff online this year because of COVID. And some of the things that they were handed out, I'm now doing in a more virtual, collaborative online manner. And so I think those are things to kind of think about, and not to say you're going to do it all at once, but be really reflective as you're moving things online, to think about is this the best way to do this? And this might be the way we're going to do it right now, but maybe we're going to start changing some of our assignments over. So Hyperdocs, we went through this in this morning session, this converting a PDF to a Hyperdoc, and it is one of my favorite examples ever. But when we look at this, she's taken a pretty basic individual worksheet and turned it into a document that allows a small group of students to jigsaw articles and work together. And so it is just an example that to me kind of illustrates how we can change, because we're moving online. We can change what we're doing with our instruction. Another option, and I'm not as experienced with GoFormative, but you can do in GoFormative is you can upload. So I've given you a few resources, but there is this great library, and when you're in the library, you can search and see what other people have done. But the beautiful thing here is you can upload for free up to 20 worksheets every month, and so this could be another way to explore the how to get your worksheets that you want to keep and you need to use in an online format. And so I did give you the resources for GoFormative there too. Trying to think. So questions about slides and using Google Slides for PDFs, or any of your slides questions? You can unmute if you want to. Okay, so we'll do a quick transition then to office hours. So I'm going to wrap up this session, your PDF session, and then we'll transition over to office hours. One of the questions that I've been getting is, how are you going to deal with CEUs? And so I'm going to send out to everybody that's registered, I'm going to send out a final evaluation. So thank you, as you've gone through this week, for filling out the quick feedbacks, because it has helped me guide your instruction. But I'll send out one final evaluation, and also in that you will be able to indicate what sessions you went to, and what sessions you went to, so that we can generate the PDF CEUs, and those will be emailed out to you. And like if you repeated the slides, no big deal. I'll give you CEUs for both of them, because we've done different things and we've talked about different things, and you and I both know that Google and learning this new technology just takes practice. So office hours count. If you came to 1, you came to 3, you can do all 3. So as you, when you get that, fill out for your PDF or your CEUs, make sure you do that so that I can get those shipped out to you. Assignments. All of the assignments that have been given to you this week truly are for your practice. So I'm not gonna, if you don't turn them in, you'll still get the CEUs. I'm not gonna say, oh no, they didn't do the work. But I'm gonna tell you that this gets so much easier the more you do it and the more you practice with it. And so if you go through and try these things out, I mean, like look at yesterday in the Google Drawings. That was so fun. At least I had fun. I hope you had fun. But so the more we can try these things, ask questions, practice with it, the easier it's going to be. The thing that I really like is that you have had an opportunity to create a classroom, but you've also had an opportunity to see what it's like to be a learner, a student. And so that's a good opportunity. So you don't need to turn in any of the assignments. Don't feel anxious about that, please. But I am going to tell you that the more you practice and the more you turn in, the better off when you go into the classroom you'll feel. No, you do not. Nobody need, if you're not doing the CEUs, or if you're doing the CEUs or not, the assignments are entirely optional. They're only out here for you to practice. And I would not even give them to you as assignments, but I want you to see what assignments look like. And so that's really, really where I'm at. Nope. You don't have to finish the scavenger hunt or even have worked on it. None of that. No. The assignments, like I said, they're just there for you to practice, see what it looks like from the student side. And so as the ones with due dates, they'll tell you that you're missing an assignment. But so this is going to be really good for you when you turn around and use this with students to be able to, exactly what they're seeing. But I'm not making you turn anything in. So as long as you fill out the final, and I'll send out an email to everybody that signed up, fill out that final request for CEUs, I'll ship those out to you and you'll be good, okay? And I'll come back and try to look at all the questions and everything that you guys have asked. But the grading is totally, they're here just for you to practice. So sorry, I don't mean to give anybody any anxiety. We've got too much other stuff going on. Okay, so let's take a 5-minute break. And so I'm not going to turn off my Zoom. We're just going to switch gears. And so we're going to move into office hours in 5 minutes. So go ahead and continue working, get up and stretch. I'm going to step away for a minute and then we'll come back and we will do office hours.